Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey guys, Juan here. So today we are going to look into Noah Syndergaard and a couple of bullet points and what he does well and what makes him an elite thrower. Total shame and totally bummed out that he's out with Tommy John surgery. There could be some contributing factors to this, from weight room to mechanical flaws to just sheer size or just terrible luck on his part to have the surgery. But a number of different reasons why somebody may have Tommy John. Typically it's all individualized. It may not always be one singular thing. Now, a couple things that he does well that we're going to focus on today are going to be his ability to coil his hips, his ability to keep his back foot into the ground and connected into the ground, and then everything that happens at pitch release and thereon after. So as we go through the last time through his motion and we get back to the beginning, let's get into the corkscrew aspect of it. Now, as he's lifting, we're going to see that his hips start coiling towards the shortstop, right? And here's the biggest key. As the hips start coiling, he's able to start initiating his back leg. Now, the biggest reason why our front foot comes off of the ground and our front leg starts lifting is really so my backside can start doing its thing. If my front leg doesn't get off the ground, I'm never going to be able to push and stride. So that's the number one reason why my front side comes off the ground, so my backside can just move, right? So here he is, and we see a discernible move with the hips from the very beginning. So we go back to the beginning, we see the hips start coiling right there. They reach their peak coil. So they're coiling towards the shortstop, and he reaches that position just before he reaches the peak of his delivery, and he starts descending his front leg and his stride leg, right? Now the biggest thing is, or one of the big things is, the ability to coil the hips but not manipulate and move the shoulders. So you see there's not this really big drastic dynamic move of the shoulders. They don't really come swaying with him, right? They stay quiet, they stay still, they're closed, but they don't really start curling towards the second base bag or towards the shortstop. It's just the hips. And the ability to coil, it's very, very difficult. It's midsection, it's your core, it's your hips, it's your pelvis, right? Your femurs. Those are what going to allow you to really coil and get into max coil throughout your stride. So he gets into his max coil, which is about right there, and we get to the bottom of the delivery. Now, you see there that he's able to sustain that coil with his torso over the backside, and there's still pressure into the ground with his back foot. Now, one of the bigger things that he does well is the ability to stay connected into the ground. And what that means is that heel, if we just look at the back foot, that heel doesn't come off the ground until rotation is happening with that front foot. So it's very well done in sequence by Syndergaard. You want to keep that back foot into the ground. And this is one of the toughest parts that pitchers need to grasp, right? As athletes, we're always taught our entire lives that we need to play off the balls of our feet. We need to play off the balls of our feet. We need to play off the balls of our feet to be as athletic as possible. But throwing a baseball as strong and as fast as you possibly can requires you to be cemented into the ground with that back foot, and that requires to be more onto your heel than on the ball of your foot. And if you're able to distribute that weight throughout the entire foot and your heel can stay connected into the ground, that's what's going to make you as strong as possible within your throw. So it's a very hard concept to grasp for most athletes because of how we're taught our entire lives. But if you can get that down, that's really going to help and really put yourself in a position to succeed throughout the rest of your delivery. Now, he's still in coil. So we see the hips and we see the back foot connected into the ground. He's still within his max coil throughout his stride towards home plate. And it's not until that front foot reaches its max rotation forward and starts descending into the ground that we start unleashing that coil. And ideally, once that foot's in the ground, boom, everything comes through. So we're not getting like super tremendous hip to shoulder separation here out of Syndergaard, But ideally, we sustain that max coil, and that foot comes out, and bam, then my hips really come flying through the zone. Now, let's look at that final thing that I was referring to, which is going to be his front leg and the way he decelerates after pitch release. So if we get to pitch release, which is about right there, that's going to be pitch release. We see that front leg is really firm, straightened out, and blocking over the hips, right? So we have that nice straight line of that front leg. That's going to allow you to transfer that energy all the way up through your body, out of your hand, and into the baseball. On top of that, this torso starts traveling. We remember that it was over our back hip. Now it starts traveling and getting more parallel and linear to the ground, right? With our right shoulder leading the way. So our shoulders are offset. My glove side shoulder is always behind. My right shoulder, or my throwing arm shoulder, is going to be leading the way within my throw and into my follow through. And as I start my follow through, so my follow through starts the very next frame once that ball is out of the hand. The follow through begins, and I start finishing over that front leg and around the front leg. And that's the biggest thing. You want to finish around that front leg and have your throwing hand feel like it's chasing your glove around that front leg and around that glove side hip, right? So instead of getting to tuck, which really Syndergaard isn't in a connected tuck, he's more of a disconnection, a controlled disconnection of the glove to his chest. Right? Instead of leaving his glove there and forcing his arm to really slam up against it, he rotates around that front hip and gets all the way around that front hip and allows himself to rotate as the throwing hand follows the glove around. And the throwing hand follows through safely around that hip as he allows his energy to travel around the front leg and around the front hip. Hope you liked the video. Hope you thought it was informative. Hopefully we get to see Syndergaard sometime soon. Smash that subscribe button. I'll see you later.